Hi, everybody. John Barry here from SEOversite. I wanted to come to you with this video today to address some questions I'm getting from a lot of clients and non-clients alike. And they all seem to follow a very similar pattern or topic, which is, why are my leads slow? And that's often followed by, is my web team failing? Or am I failing as a business owner? Or, what am I doing wrong? Is this a trend? Well, it's 2024. I mean, mullets are back, so could it be a trend? And people have this mentality, business owners especially, that hey, if we do everything right, and we keep doing the right things and have that consistent, good activity, that we're just going to continue to grow and grow and be busy forever. And that's just not the reality. We can't look at this. We can't look at this year in a vacuum and compare it to some of the best years that we've ever seen as an industry, especially in plastic surgery and med spa specifically. And the reality is that we have some years where we're super busy, and we have others that are more tread water years. And this year especially, there's not really a direct straight line that we can draw between two things to know exactly why we are slower, because that's going to vary depending on your very specific situation. But there are some things that we can point to, including some seasonal trends. And for example, we're seeing this year that overall impressions, meaning the amount of eyeballs that just get on Google and see different search results, are down probably anywhere from 5 to 30%, depending on your market, in 2024 compared to 2023 for cosmetic surgery, plastic surgery, med spas. It doesn't seem to be a similar situation for medical related. So, medical dermatology or dental, industries like that are kind of always needed. When we look at elective medicine, it's just a different animal. The marketing's different. The target audience is very different. So I want us to think back to 2019 and perhaps even beyond. The typical year looked something like this. We were very busy in the spring, January through April, and then we would experience what we call at SEOversite a summer slide, meaning that from May until probably August to September, things got generally slower and slower and slower gradually. Kids are out of school, people are traveling, and we would see these visitors gradually slide, the summer slide, until about August and September, and then kids would be back into school and things would pick back up. Then there'd be some ups and downs through the holidays, and then we would have that post-holiday pop as of January 1st, where we would get busier again, and that would restart that cycle. We'd have the busy spring and then a little bit of a slower summer, and so on and so forth. Well, we have to remember that during the school years, or during the school year, the schedules should be fairly consistent. But in the summertime and around the holidays, it shakes up that schedule, because usually our target demographic is, pulled in a few different directions with parties or family time or, shopping. As convenient as Amazon and Walmart are online, even shopping can be super duper stressful. And we're thinking about these other things. When kids are out of school in the summertime, we're thinking about travel and whatnot. And that was a typical year before COVID. But then COVID hit, right? And we were locked inside, and it built up this dam of business. And as soon as we opened the dam, we had a flood of leads, and every practice in the world was drinking through a fire hose. And that really continued through the rest of 2020. And then 2021 was our biggest year ever for plastic surgery and med spas. And frankly, you could have a monkey answering the phones and be successful during that time. And then in 2022, that continued. We had probably our second biggest year of all time for the industry. And even into the beginning of 2023, we were still really humming. But between May and September of 2023, we saw search volume start to have a downward trend. And in some cases, it plummeted. And I started getting calls like, what's going on? And people forget that we had this 3 to 4 year stretch where we were just so busy, and we expected that to continue. And we forgot all about what a typical year looks like. Remember that since the summer of last year, since that May to September of 2023 window, we faced increasing inflation. wars. Now it's an election year, you name it. And you can't just do, especially during slower times, times where leads are tougher to come by. You can't just do mediocre work anymore and continue to grow. And neither can your web team. You have to do great work 100% of the time. And you need to have an excellent sales process in place. You need to have great marketing, and you need to reinvest when others are not. Your practice likely falls into one of three buckets in terms of marketing. We have established clients, which I'm calling treadwater clients. Then we have semi-established clients, which I'm calling silver lining clients, and unestablished clients, which are more of a blank canvas or a blank slate. Established clients are those that have excellent rankings, lots of reviews and before and after photos, otherwise known as B&As. They spend on PPC, they utilize email and text marketing, and they basically have solid overall visibility online. If you are doing all of these things and still feel slow or the schedule isn't full, then you're likely the victim of one of two things. Either the drop in search volume, which all things remaining equal, if you're ranked number one for everything and all you do is organic SEO, so that you rank well on Google. If that's all you do and you ranked number one for everything in 2023 and you ranked number one for everything in 2024, then search volume being down means that your visitors are going to be down. You're just as visible. You can't be any more visible on Google. So it could be the drop in search volume that's affecting a drop in inquiries, if there is even a drop. But you also might be the victim of a lackluster sales process. Remember, I said that in 2021 you could have had a monkey answering the phones and still done well, and it's true. You can't do that anymore. You have to have a well-trained front desk. You have to have an amazing all-star patient care coordinator. Otherwise, these good leads that you're still likely getting, which are tougher to get in the door, which require a little bit more TLC, they require someone more knowledgeable. And that are a little bit more particular about where they're spending their money, you have to have that in place, or you are going to be down. You are going to feel slower. Your schedule is going to suffer. One of these things can be fixed with proper training through Yellow Telescope. And that's the patient coordinator sales position. Even your front desk, we can help through Yellow Telescope by training them up with our monthly webinars and mystery caller program, and even our one-on-one onboarding. The other, search volume, you can't control that. And that's why I call your category, if you are an established practice, established online, that's why I'm calling your category tread water, as it's unlikely to change without significant investment in new forms of advertising. It's unlikely to change without significant investment in patient coordinator training or front desk training. And you'll just have to be patient until that search volume comes roaring back, or even if it's a trickle, you're going to have to be patient until that happens. And if you're a Yellow Telescope clients, you're likely still in the midst of one of your best years of your career, if not the best year of your career at this point. So kudos. Now, semi-established clients, bucket number two. Semi-established clients are those that are perhaps middling in all of those categories. Maybe you have a couple of search terms on page one, but certainly not all, or maybe you don't have any on page one yet. You get a decent but not great amount of traffic to your website for your market. You're dabbling in some PPC or maybe some social ads and so on, but you haven't really ramped up. You're not reinvesting heavily. You are our silver lining practices. Yes, search volume is slowed due to the summer, and there are people who are ranking well above you while you're down here. And there's a bunch of those other factors that we've already mentioned, but you also have all this room for growth. And it's exciting when you look at it that way versus thinking, gosh, it's just slower than it was when I opened my business in 2021 or 2022, or it's slow. I've been in business for 10 years. I've never really had to do a lot of marketing, and I crushed it in 21 through 23. Well, of course you did. Right? I mean, you could do no wrong. Nobody could. Your goal right now needs to be to Do not back off of your marketing and control what you can control. Make sure you have that proper staff training. If you don't, reach out. And for your patient coordinators, but also your front desk, and try to keep your cost centers low and under control as much as you can. Things like credit card processing and medical supply ordering. See if you qualify for a tax credit. There's a big research and development tax credit available in plastic surgery and med spa industry that we didn't know about until about a year and a half, 2 years ago. So there's some things out there where you can actually use those savings to double down and reinvest in the areas that are working while keeping your cost centers under control. If you have questions about any of that, feel free to email me or reach out to our team at SE Oversight. Finally, for you unestablished or blank canvas practices, you're ideally just starting out. That's how you would fall into this category. You cannot expect a lot of leads just because you showed up and opened your doors. You need the basics of a website and search engine optimization from a good team, because that's the long run, the long term play. But those aren't going to generate a lot of leads at the start. You need to make sure you're active on social media, running Google or social ads, with a reasonable budget to generate some immediate leads. Cultivate relationships with other businesses that are in your orbit but aren't direct competitors. So for a plastic surgeon, this might be salons or gyms and spas or med spas in your market, and partner with them for events to promote not just brand awareness, but run a special for those that are in attendance, and give their employees a deal to get some warm bodies in the door. Every single one of those procedures you perform, it's not just the revenue, but it's more photos for your photo gallery. It's more reviews, more referrals, and so on. So you are perhaps, depending on how you look at it, in the most exciting position is you really have nowhere to go but up. You have a foundation poured as long as you have your business open and your website up and SEO going, and you've got your social media profile set up. If you've got the basics in order, you've got nowhere to go but up, which is very, very exciting. So it's important to, no matter which category you fall into, it's important to look at these things through the right lens and not overreact. Don't be reactive. Push when others pull. Everybody around you in your market is freaking out, and they might say that they're very, very busy. They probably are not. So, and even if you're down 10%, 20% versus last year, you might still be in the heart of what could be a top two or top 3 year for your business. And that's a good thing. If you're not sure which category you fall into, or you would like to learn more about some of the things that I've talked about, we're here if you'd like to discuss. And we hope this was helpful. And from all of us here at SE Oversight, thanks for watching.